Hello everyone. Welcome back to our AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate Certification Bootcamp series. In our previous module, we covered Amazon Aurora basic features. If you have started your journey with this video, we'd like to request you please review the previous module as well for a complete understanding. I'll provide the video URL in the description below. In this module, we'll start with what Aurora Serverless is. Then we'll deep dive into Serverless v2 architecture. We'll explore key features and use cases. Followed by, we'll compare it with the traditional or provisioned Aurora cluster. Then we'll review Aurora Global Database, including cluster architecture, real-world use cases, and benefits. Like the previous Aurora capabilities, these are highly testable in AWS certification exam and equally valuable in real-life scenarios. Without further delay, let us get started. Let's start with the basic. Amazon Aurora Serverless is an on-demand auto-scaling configuration of Amazon Aurora. This means it automatically starts, scales, and shuts down database capacity based on your application's need. With Aurora Serverless, you don't manage database instances. Instead, you define a capacity range and AWS handles rest of everything. The capacity unit is called ACU or Aurora Capacity Unit. In Amazon Aurora Serverless v2, an ACU is a blend of CPU, memory, and networking. Each ACU provides roughly about 2 GB of RAM or memory along with corresponding amount of CPU and networking capacity. For workloads with long periods of inactivity, Aurora Serverless v2 can scale down to 0 ACU. When this feature is enabled, Aurora pauses the database and stops compute billing. The database will automatically resume when a new connection is made to the database, and for Serverless v2, you can configure a minimum ACU of 0 up to a maximum ACU of 256. Scaling in v2 is very fast, fine-grained, and non-disruptive. It can scale in increment as small as 0.5 Aurora capacity units or ACU, and with one of its kind architecture, Aurora Serverless v2 eliminates the need for capacity planning. If you have an unpredictable workload or workload with infrequent database access or intermittent request or short-term workload, Amazon Aurora Serverless is the perfect choice for you. AWS charges per second of usage, and with database pausing capability, Aurora Serverless v2 provides most cost-effective option for unpredictable workloads. Before continuing further, let's go back to AWS Management Console and let's compare the capabilities and let's see different options. Back to my AWS Management Console, and I am at RDS database creation screen. We have reviewed this in our previous demo. In terms of RDS engine options, we have Aurora, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and other database engines. For Aurora, you can either select Aurora MySQL compatible or Aurora PostgreSQL compatible. Here are different engine versions you can select from the drop down. For this demo, let's select a newer version. Maybe I'll select 3.10 compatible with MySQL 8.0. Now let's scroll bottom and let's select the instance configuration. Here is the instance configuration. You have options like Serverless v2, memory optimized or burstable classes. Now memory optimized and burstable classes, these are provisioned capacity. If you select any one of the provisioned capacity, where you have to select the instance size, and here you can select the size based on the vCPU and your RAM requirement. However, if you select serverless, the configuration will change and you are no longer selecting any database instance. Rather, you are selecting the ACU. And here you can see I can select a minimum of 0 and minimum capacity I can put up to 256. If I select 8 ACU, which will give me 16 GB of RAM, one ACU comes with 2 GB of memory or RAM, and I can go up to 256 ACU. That is why I have 512 GB of RAM. Maybe for this demo or for your workload, 256 or 512 GB is a very big configuration unless and until you need that. Maybe I'll go with 5 and minimum capacity maybe I'll put 0. Here you can configure the pause or the inactivity. That means if the database detects a 5 minutes of inactivity, then it is going to pause everything, and you can change this configuration here. In terms of multi-AZ deployment, you can configure either a multi-AZ or you can create without a read replica. Rest all other options are same as we reviewed for RDS. I'm not going to go through each and every configurations. I'll go back to my PPT and let's review Aurora Serverless architecture. Here is the architecture for Aurora Provision Cluster. We have reviewed this in our previous module. For Aurora Provision Cluster, we have seen that you are going to select the vCPU and the RAM, and the storage is auto scaled. No matter what mode of Aurora you are selecting, you are not provisioning any storage for your database, unlike RDS other database engine. And here is the architecture for Aurora Serverless Cluster. For Aurora Serverless Cluster, AWS has a warm pool, and based on your ACU configuration, AWS will add or remove those ACUs from the warm pool, and based on your workload, your ACUs will be allocated. As we have seen that you can configure a minimum and maximum ACU configuration. Now let's review different key features of Aurora Serverless. You can create a mixed cluster. That means you can have a single Aurora cluster with a mix of provision and serverless V2 instances. As an example, if you have a steady state production workload with a spiky read traffic, then you can configure an Aurora provisioned writer for the steady state production workload and a mix of provisioned and serverless V2 read replica for your spiky read traffic. The next feature is Data API. Data API allows you to interact with your database over HTTPS, which is perfect for any modern serverless applications like AWS Lambda. It simplifies development by handling connection poolings for you. The next feature is high availability. Serverless V2 supports multi-AZ deployments for high availability and Aurora Global Database for disaster recovery. For failover, a serverless V2 replica can automatically scale up to match the writer's capacity, which will ensure a smooth transaction. Next, let's review Aurora Serverless use cases, and to start with intermittent workload. Think about an internal analytics dashboard or a website with seasonal traffic. Serverless V2 saves money by scaling down during off-peak hours and ramping up automatically during busy periods. Second use case could be development and test environments. If you have a requirement for a non-production database, because non-productions are not always in use, and you can pause these instances, which can reduce your cost significantly. The other use case could be SaaS and multi-tenant applications. For SaaS providers with many customers and each customer with varying database needs, serverless V2 allows them to provision cost-effective per tenant database, which will scale independently. Now let's compare Aurora Serverless V2 cluster capabilities with Aurora Provision Cluster, and we'll start with capacity management. For serverless, it can automatically scale compute capacity up and down in 0.5 ACU increment based on your application traffic, whereas for provision capacity, which requires you to manually choose and manage a fixed database instance class, such as we have already reviewed, DB-R6 extra large based on your vCPU and RAM requirement. Next is maximum capacity. For Aurora Serverless, you can scale up to 256 ACUs or up to 512 GB of memory, Whereas for provision cluster, you can have a wide range of high-end instance size for the most demanding workloads. So obviously provision cluster has more or better options for you. And in terms of suitable workloads, serverless is ideal for applications with infrequent, intermittent, or unpredictable workloads, whereas provision is best suited for steady, predictable workloads. Next, we are going to cover Amazon Aurora Global Database. An Aurora Global Database is a single Aurora database that can span across multiple AWS regions, and here is an example of an Aurora Global cluster. It is designed for applications with a global footprint which will enable low latency local reads and providing disaster recovery from a rare AWS region-wide outages. A global database consists of one primary database cluster in one AWS region and up to 10 read-only secondary cluster in other regions. Both Aurora Serverless v2 and Aurora Provision cluster supports Aurora Global Database deployments. You have to remember all the writes are performed in the primary region and then data is replicated to secondary regions with a very low latency, and the latency will be less than 1 second, and all the nodes irrespective primary or secondary all supports local reads. This is the Aurora Global Database architecture we reviewed in previous slide. Now let's review Aurora's unique storage-based replication. Unlike traditional database replication, which uses database engine logic, Aurora Global Database uses dedicated infrastructure at the storage layer to copy data blocks between regions. When an update happens in the primary region captures the update and sent directly from storage layer to secondary regions where it's applied almost instantly. And this approach is much more efficient with little to no performance impact on your primary database. In our example, the primary database instance is in the US East region. Users from other regions can use the low latency local read capability. But what happens for local writes? In the default scenario, the application should be using primary instance or the cluster write endpoint for any write or update operation. As a result, users from Asia Pacific Mumbai or European region will see a write latency, and to avoid this, Aurora supports read replica write forwarding. Let's go back to AWS Management Console and let's review the read replica write forwarding. While configuring your Aurora cluster, the write forwarding should be under connectivity. Here is the read replica write forwarding, and if you enable this, then this feature will be available for you. Now let's review what is read replica write forwarding. With this feature, you can enable a secondary region cluster to accept writes. An application writes the data to Aurora secondary cluster, and the secondary cluster forwards the data to Aurora primary cluster using write forwarding. Then primary cluster will store the data in the database, and then the primary cluster replicates the update to the secondary cluster, and data updates now will be available to all the secondary clusters. And this is the way to use read replica write forwarding to support global writes. Next, let's review another one important concept which AWS loves to test during the certification exam, and the concept is disaster recovery. In the event of a full region-wide outage, you can perform an unmanaged failover, which will allow you to promote a secondary region to a primary with an RPO of typically under 1 second, and the RTO will be typically under 1 minute. This approach will drastically minimize the data loss and downtime. If you have any planned events like a disaster recovery drill, you can perform a global database switchover, which is an automated process that gracefully switches the primary and secondary roles without data loss. For this certification, please focus on aspects like low latency global read or multi-region solution for low latency read or ultra low RPO and RTO requirement. The potential answer for all these scenarios are Aurora Global Database. The next concept is Aurora Multi-Master. Aurora Multi-Master is a single region solution that provides multiple read-write instances within the same Aurora cluster located across different availability zones. All instances in this cluster can accept write, unlike the previous Aurora cluster where we saw only one or the primary can accept write and all others are read replica. If one of the instance fail, then other continues to serve write request without any failover or delay. And with multi-master, you have an extremely high availability for write operation, which will protect your workload against instance and availability zone failure. This is ideal for applications that cannot tolerate any downtime for write operations. Multi-master is a less common option which is supported for older MySQL compatible Aurora versions. It is not available for all workloads or in all AWS regions. For the certification exam, please remember multi-master operates entirely within a single AWS region. This is the key differentiator from global database. It's a newer and less common option. However, we want to provide all the relevant information for you to tackle any questions during the certification. That wraps up this module. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more AWS exam preparation courses and cloud certification bootcamps. Got questions or feedback? Drop them in the comment. We love to hear from you. Thanks for learning with us at Cloud Expert Solutions. You are now one step closer to crushing your exam. See you in the next module.